I mean, come on. Do you really think that they didn't know that I was there for over a year, showing up every single week teaching?
Emory, I mean, really. They're a credible university.
And they are, and they are.
They have campus police.
They do. And I have such a respect for Emory, too. I mean, they're so well thought of, and it's a renowned university throughout the nation. Everybody that I've always dealt with there has been just top notch, and I really respect the people that I dealt with, that knew me and that I knew. I know that there's been some people involved that I've never had a chance to meet, and people. I guess you can have your own opinion about people that you've never met. I mean, they. People that don't know you and don't know the situation may have one thing to say. That can be their own opinion. But the people that I've met personally, I've always had a great respect for. And I mean, come on, do you really think that I was there with them not knowing for over a year, teaching private lessons in a teaching room where I was actually on the printed schedule?
Right.
And then again, I mean, to make this into something that it's not, I was teaching piano lessons.
Right.
Okay. I mean, it's a wholesome, very, what would the word be, activity. And, and the students enjoyed their lessons. Everybody always, got what it is that they wanted from the lesson.
How long did you teach at Emory?
Oh, I oversaw the program for the adult program for Evening at Emory for 15 years.
Wow.
I started the program back when I was approached by the executive director for what they call the Briarcliff campus or West Campus. We decided to, go ahead and promote the course, see if there was interest, and there was a great deal of interest. In fact, there was so much interest that we added a second section. At the time we were on quarters, so by the second quarter we added a second section of intro piano for adults, and those classes always filled out. And so because they kept on filling out, we kept on,
There was a demand for them.
There was. I mean, and we had such good reviews. I mean, everybody that took the course, and it's like anything else. I mean, you've got, a wide range of people that you're approaching, and as a result, you try to appeal to the masses, and that's what we did through the course. It always got good reviews and good course reviews.
How did Emory learn about your credentials? Can you discuss your credentials a little bit?
Well, what happened was when we started this program, we went ahead and promoted it, and again, there were so many people that had signed up for the course and continued to sign up for the course. We added the second section, then we added an intermediate piano section, and then at one point even added music history to the offerings for the adults. And so this classes always did well. I mean, well enough that it ran for about 15 years. Semester after semester for 15 years. So it was a great course, and I've had a lot over the years, a lot of people come up to me and tell me what a joy that they've gotten out of the course and how much it benefited their life and enriched their lives. On top of it, it started for many adults an activity they thought they wouldn't be able to do, and I've seen this happen with my own eyes. They, went from a position where they didn't know where middle C was to a point where they're playing, Chopin's Premier Ballade number 1. And that's a worthy piece. And to get to that point and to go from a point where you were not know where middle C was before you took the course to the point where you're playing, Chopin's Ballade or, the Nocturnes by Chopin or Beethoven's, Pathétique. The sonatinas by Clementi. these are, substantial pieces well known throughout the history of music for, in some instances, 100 years or more. And for those students to get the benefit of that music and to learn, that they have a skill that they've never been able to capitalize on in the past, and to get the enjoyment and the enrichment from those courses, that's really where I took the benefit. I got the benefit. It was really, really more of a benefit to me to see the great difference that music has made in their lives. More of a benefit to me probably than even to them. And that's what kept me going semester after semester for 15 years to teach this. I mean, there were times at which, I can think of, several funny incidences where I wasn't either able to teach or the prospects of teaching for that night were very slim because of, in one instance I had food poisoning, and but I dragged myself to class and taught that class. In the 15 years, semester after semester, I think there was only one class that we had to postpone after all those years. One instance, I remember years ago, I had a flat tire in the rain, and I actually walked to campus. It took me 45 minutes to get there, but I walked to campus, got there completely drenched. I looked like a wet rat. All the papers were wet, and my books were ruined. But I got the class and I taught it. There's another instance where the lights went out all across campus, and in that instance, we took out a flashlight. One of the class members had a flashlight. It was a pen light, and I shone it on the board, and we continued to take notes. And so that was the dedication that I had for the course, and the commitment that I had to the students. I can give you a lot of other instances where,
Do you still have students from those classes?
Oh yeah. They're still taking, many students are still taking privately from me. Many of them have been with me for 7, 8, 10 years. I've got 4 students that have been with me that took the initial classes at from memory, and they continue to want to have quality instruction and to learn, and asked me if I would teach them, and they're still on my schedule today. Many have been in my schedule for 5 years. The majority of my students have been with me over 5 years, and so I wear that as a badge of honor, because that, to me, that means that I'm doing something right and that they're learning from me. Otherwise, I don't think they'd be coming back. I mean, why would they?
Mm-hmm.
And so I give them all the attention that I can, tailorize the lessons to their specific needs. One student in one instance might need to be more encouraged. Another student might need more of a disciplinarian type of approach. And so that's what I think my job is. That's my job, is to make sure that they're getting what they need specifically and tailorized just to their needs. And I think that's why they keep on coming back, because they're getting out of their lessons exactly what they need. Not a cookie cutter approach that's given to everybody, but something that that is tailored just to what their needs and their wants are.
That's good.
Yeah, I think also that a lot of the students, once they realize that they're learning and they're progressing, I think that speaks for itself, and that's an important element of it. But I really, put a lot of effort and a lot of thought into the lesson plans. I develop every week a specific lesson plan designed just for them, and choose the pieces carefully, and then we work on those pieces, and when they see progress, I think that they they see the benefit of that, and that's the important thing, is that they are the ones that are improving, and they're the ones that are getting their lives enriched, and they're the ones that are moving forward in their music. And that's another reason why I give the Lunch and Learns. I mean, these are events that I give. I choose a student who has indicated an interest in learning to collaborate with another musical instrument. we choose an instrument that they want to play with. This is an adult student. And then I do a review of all the literature that's been written, all the music that's been written for those two instruments. We choose a piece that's perfectly suited for them. And
you mean they get to choose who they want to accompany them, like?
Well, the instrument that they want to accompany, yeah.
Right.
Yeah, and so after we choose that instrument, I do a review of all the music that's been written of literature for that instrument and the piano, and then we choose a piece that was written that's perfectly designed for their level, so they're not overwhelmed, but also shows their true talent. And then at that point we work on the piece for a few months. Then I hire an accompanist that is of that other instrument. Then we work on the piece together, so they musically collaborate with that other instrument, so they learn musical collaboration, they learn how to prepare for performance, and what it's like to work with that instrument, that other instrument other than the piano, and they learn about that instrument as well. So it's a learning experience for them on those levels. But then we present that piece then to the student base, the adult student base, as a lunch and learn. Again, we rent a venue, and I fund all this on my own because I know the benefit that this and the real joy that this brings to the students. Then I have it professionally catered, so we have a luncheon afterwards. So I print up a formal program so that they have that as a memento, the performer. And then I give a little talk about the piece beforehand in what we call a musical historical perspective, so that the students that are attending are learning about the piece, and then they get to hear the live music, the benefit of live music, and one of their own performing it also. And then afterwards we take a question and answer. We have a question and answer period, and then go right into the luncheon part, the catered luncheon, and then we're finished by 1 o'clock, so everybody can go back to their normal, business schedule and go back for afternoon appointments and back to the office. So we've given several of these, and because of their benefit, we'll continue to give them, and the feedback that we've gotten from the students and how much they enjoy them, and it provides a level of camaraderie for the students as well. They get to interact with other adult students that that have a shared interest. In this instance, the piano. They get to enjoy that fellowship and kind of compare notes about how each other's doing. So as we go through these different events, it starts to form a musical family, and that's always been important for me, to establish that kind of camaraderie for the students, for the benefit and sake of the students themselves, so they feel like they're part of not just learning on their own, but part of a bigger family of people that are learning the instrument and of musicians. And so I've been very pleased with the performances that we've had.
What's the difference between a lunch and learn and a recital?
Well, a recital is where you've got students that are all performing their own pieces, and it's a series of these students. Lunch and learn is where I've chosen just one student that's performing, and they're performing that to the student base, so the student base just gets to enjoy and sit back and relax, and they're not performing themselves, but just learning through the historical perspective. They're learning some of about the other instrument other than the piano as well, and then they get to just enjoy and just to really be an observer versus a participant.
That's good.
Did you hear that next door?
Yes, I did.